Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Marine X back at it again. The Leatherman Surge versus the Leatherman Arc. Specifically, in this case, I have the Leatherman Arc Obsidian. The Leatherman Arc Obsidian's not necessarily available anymore. It was a limited run. I kind of wish Leatherman would have told us how many they were releasing. It kind of just came and went, fly by night. It was almost here like a fortnight. Felt like a fortnight it was here, but you can still get the regular OG Leatherman Arc. We'll talk about which one might be best for you, which one I kind of like more. And both of these have their advantages and disadvantages. So let's just talk about which one may be the best for you overall. Any of the facts that I'm getting, if I may miss something, I'll probably try to put stuff on the screen and put information down below. Any links down below will be affiliate links. So if you use any of those, it won't cost you any additional money, but it will help the channel out, and I appreciate that type of stuff. Let's start off with the OG, the Leatherman Surge. It's a 21 tool implement. It overall it feels hefty. It's beefy. It's 365 grams. It's a big boy. It feels heavy. It is a big brother to the Leatherman Wave Plus. It feels like an adjacent cousin to the Leatherman Charge TTI and the Leatherman Charge Plus. This is the type of tool that someone that's in the trades could bring with them. I'm not saying that if you're in the trades and you're trying to figure out which multi-tool can I just pulled up to a job. I'm going to grab my clipboard, a pencil, a pen. Maybe I grab a pair of insulated screwdriver. Maybe I grab a multi-tool. This might be the multi-tool you grab with you if you're a carpenter, an electrician, an HVAC guy, if you're in the trades, whatever. This could be something that feels substantial like that. So what do you get when you buy this? So you don't get a pocket clip. That was an additional, I think I bought this for $6 on sale. This is the official Leatherman pocket clip, and it does have a lot of play. I think a lot of folks have complained about that. So you can either do the key ring or you can do the pocket clip. So that's one thing to think about. Um, it does have four basic tools which are available on the outside of the tool. So you get the blade, which is kind of all sorts of shapes. It's like a recurve mixed with a drop point mixed with, it's just not a great grind. Okay, but it's a multi-tool knife. What do you expect? I think it's rocking a 440 HC blades. It's nothing to write home to mom about. If you use this often, you're going to be sharpening it more often than not. You can get the Leatherman Surge in two variants. I have it in the block oxide. You can get it in the stainless version as well. It does have very big, beefy scissors. Scissors are bigger than the scissors on the Arc. The scissors are really good. If you want to use this for cutting like aluminum, cutting tissue, cutting zip ties, these are great scissors for that. It just a lot easier to use than trying to stick a knife in weird places. Obviously, it's hard to cut aluminum or toilet paper or thinly parchment paper or something like that with a knife. So that's nice to have some scissors with you. The other side, you do have a serrated blade, which is probably my least used tool element for any Leatherman multi-tool. I would prefer if you could switch that out with anything else. I would probably take it because I just don't use it as often as other tools. And then this one, Unique, does have a tool exchanger in the form of a T-shank. Now, this can use basically most common T-shanks. It's very easy to switch the tools out themselves. The thing about this is whatever T-shank you buy, you need to make sure it actually fits inside of the tool itself. And when you get this, it actually comes with two tools. It comes with the saw, and it comes with the file, the wood and the metal file that I have. And then, if you want to, you can kind of keep this on board, just kind of stick it right next to the knife if you don't use it very often, or if you think you're going to use a knife, or I don't use the serrated blade very often. So you can stick it in here. It's kind of like a hack, and that way you don't even have to keep it in the case. But the tool exchanger in the form of a T-shank, very good file on there. So if you want to get any aftermarket adapters, anything that's a T-shank, even if you want to use this like a big handle. So say for instance, you got like a blade or a bandsaw type of blade or something like that. You could use this as a handle. It won't fit in the tool, but you can put a long tool on here and use it as a handle. So that's definitely an advantage. And a lot of people don't know about this, but hidden inside of the Leatherman Surge is a built-in lanyard. You just have to take the actual T-shank out, use like a slotted screwdriver or a key, and press the lanyard on here. And this is one multi-tool I actually like a lanyard on it. This is a lanyard I think I just bought on Amazon, but I kind of like it way it works on here. It kind of makes it easier to get out the pocket. And then when we get inside the tool, you do have the big beefy pliers, but these are, I think they're made in Mexico pliers. They don't have the stamp of made in USA on them, which lets you know that these pliers are not made in the USA. This thing might be assembled in America, but they can't say made in America because it doesn't meet the percentages that are required to have that mark. But it does feel good in the hand. This feels a lot better in the hand than the Leatherman Wave Plus. I've done a comparison of the Leatherman Wave Plus and the Leatherman Arc. I will leave that linked if you want to check that out. It does have some big, beefy, more substantial wire cutters. These are 154 cm uh, for the actual wire cutters in there built in. It has crimpers. The actual regular pliers are very substantial. The needle nose portion is big. The only thing that's kind of missing on here is if you wanted the tool implement, this is almost as good as the Mutt and the super tool where you can put the tool implement to clean your weapons. That's the only thing that's really missing from this tool head to make it like the ultimate Leatherman plier head. Then the rest of the tools are available while you have this open. This is where you will find the bit exchanger, Leatherman's bit exchanger, and you will find the wire stripper and can opener over here. They all kind of lock into place and they release with this release handle on the back to release the tools. You do have a ruler built in here, 4 inches, and I think this is centimeters, but this is America, so I care about the American marks over there for the measurement. Same thing on this side. You have the ruler, and then you have the rest of the tools on this side. You have an awl. You do have a kind of a prying size slotted screwdriver, a smaller size slotted screwdriver. So bottle cap lifter and can opener on this side, kind of all the pressure or the prying type stuff, digging type stuff, reamer, all that type of stuff is built in on this side for you overall. So you can't access any of these tools while it is closed. So you have to think about that. But you can, pull a tool out, right? So say for instance, I want to pull the awl out because I'm going to dig a hole into some wood or whatever. You can pull it out, lock it in place, and then you can just close the tool back up and use the awl. So yeah, it does take a couple of extra steps to kind of get that done, but it is what it is. So that's what you get on the Leatherman Surge. I may have missed some things, but that's basically it. Here on the Leatherman Arc, this is I believe a 20-in-1 tool. The headlining feature on this is the free series technology, which allows for you to open the multi-tool one-handed. It also allows for you to close the multi-tool one-handed. You don't incur the Leatherman pinch. The Leatherman Surge doesn't have the Leatherman pinch as bad as the Leatherman Wave Plus. The more you open this tool up, the better it will work, but it does, you do get the pinch. You don't get the pinch as much with the Leatherman Arc. It's just much easier to use. But let's just talk about the tools that you get on this versus the Surge. You're going to get the reversible pocket clip included. So you don't get that with the Surge. It's not a tool, but it's something to think about. You do get the Magna Cut blade. Okay. And of course they did a better job with the grind on the blade itself versus the Surge. So something that they thought about and really took some time into. It includes a thumb stud. It's really good, nice to use. You also get a saw, which I would prefer versus a serrated blade. I can always find a use for a saw, whether I'm using it like an idiot prying or I'm using it as a saw to cut some PVC or some wood or whatever. You get some scissors. They're not as substantial as the Surge scissors, but cutting everything I mentioned earlier, aluminum, tissue, zip ties, it can do all that stuff just fine. And then you're going to get the wood and metal file built into the tool. And every other tool is also available to the user except for the plier while it's closed. So that might be something that's beneficial for you as well. So you're going to get the bottle cap lifter as well as like a slotted screwdriver in a pry bar or however you may want to use it. You get the micro bit exchanger. So you can use that for your sunglasses or for whatever. You get the awl / kind of a reamer tool. Maybe not as much, not as good as, obviously nowhere near as good as the Leatherman Mutt, but you get it. And also built into the bottom of that is the wire stripper for the awl. Whereas on this side, you get the full size bit exchanger, the Leatherman bit exchanger. You get the bottle cap lifter on this side. And then you get inside and you get the pliers, which argue to say that the wire cutter design is not as good as the Surge. It does leave a little bit of a gap. Some folks say you can use that for stripping. I think the stripper is built into the awl for this. I don't think that's what that's designed for. And I don't know if these are really designed for crimping. I've never tried to crimp with the bottom of these pliers. I don't know. Does it have a built-in crimper? Somebody let me know. I'll look at the tool set online. The regular pliers is not as substantial. The needles are not as substantial. You can still exchange these out. But it does have that. It does have the USA stamp on there. That made in the USA for at least the plier head for this tool altogether. So that's something that you may want to consider as well. Let's talk about the price. $229 for the regular Leatherman Arc. This one cost me, I think, $275 for the upgrades, and then this one is $149. I got it for $106. They're having a sale. Leatherman's having a sale on a lot of their multi-tools right now, 25% off some of their legacy items. So I'll link those up down below as well. Let's talk about the sheaths that come with these. You get the very basic sheath. It's not the most basic sheath that Leatherman has. I think they even have like more basic ones that come with some of the multi-tools, but this is, you're kind of getting a basic nylon sheath here, which you may want that. Both of these are pass-through for belts or something like that. You can put a tool on the side if you have like the ratchet extender or whatever, and then built on the inside is a place for you to put bits, whatever. This one is made in China, whereas you get this leather sheath. It does have an area inside for you to put bits, and this is made in the USA. Doesn't mean I particularly like this one. My favorite sheath by Leatherman has to be the sheath that comes with the Leatherman Mutt. It's just very big. It's substantial. I like the hook and loop versus a button. I like that a lot. It's very big, so you can fit your multi-tool plus something else in there. It has a built-in holder. Of course, this is for the Mutt, so it's built different because it's designed to take a weapon apart. But it just has a lot more. It's MOLLE capable versus only being able to be used on a belt. I like this a lot. So if you decide to get the Mutt, if you decide to get the Surge, I would just say maybe you get the holder that's designed for the Mutt. If you throw a lanyard on there, it kind of makes it easier to grab that. I just think this is a lot better, a lot more substantial versus the sheath that comes with it originally. But that's just my opinion. You still have the areas on the side. It's just a very great sheath. Or you can always go aftermarket. This one's from Next Torch, excuse me. But this was kind of more of a hard one. It comes with a multi-tool that I recently received from Next Torch, but I checked their catalog. You can just buy something like this if you wanted to. Just find the one that's appropriate size for yours. I like the fact that this is hard. So it's kind of easier for you to mold or for you to get your multi-tool in and out. It's not all fungible and all that type of stuff. Still MOLLE capable. You can still pass a belt through it. Still hook and loop. Maybe not enough room for a bit exchangers, but you can always go aftermarket as well. So what would it, and another thing about the Leatherman Arc is it comes with half a bits set. Okay, so bit set normally costs you $30. They give you half a bit set. So altogether, you're getting, I think, 10 bits with the Leatherman Arc, where this one, you're getting the 2 pre-installed bits. That's it. You do get the additional tool for the T-shank, for the tool exchanger in the form of a T-shank. So that's nice if you want to be able to have that at the ready. It's very nice to be able to switch that out. Very, very cool. I like the built-in lanyard for the Leatherman Surge. So which one is going to be right for you? Okay, listen. If you want something a little bit more slim, as I've mentioned this a ton of times before, something more slim, this is much more lightweight. It's not way smaller than the Surge. It is smaller than the Surge. Don't get it twisted. But it's not just leaps and bounds smaller than the Surge. But if you want something, it is significantly lighter. You want the one hand opening. If you're always trying to figure out how to keep your hand on your workpiece, until you open this thing up a couple hundred times, it's not going to, eventually you will get this to the point where you can almost open it one handed. I say almost, okay? But this one is out the box, ready to rock and roll. It has the Magna Cut blade. So if you're the type of person that carries a multi-tool on your person, you use it at least 10 times a day. I've mentioned this before. You don't carry a knife typically, or you do carry a knife, but you just want the best. Then the Leatherman Arc. I really enjoy this. I know a lot of people kind of shit on it. I've carried both of these 2 weeks independently. Okay. And when the Surge was in my pocket for 2 weeks, my biggest complaint was this: when it's in your pocket, okay, you go to pull it out of your pocket like this. And then when I wanted to open the blade, normally I'm used to just flipping my hand around and deploying the blade like that. Well, if I do that, I'm actually deploying the serrated blade. So to pull it out of my pocket, I actually had to shift my hand one more time, and then I can deploy the blade one-handed. It's a first world problem, guys, but I noticed when I pull the arc out of my pocket, I literally just pull it out and I'm deploying the blade just like that. Because if you're using this as your only knife, it is nice to literally pull this out as if you're pulling out a knife. It's not happening with the Surge. It is a lot more deliberate. It's a lot slower process. It's a complete first world problem. I'm just saying. For this to be the official pocket clip of Leatherman, I don't like all this play. I have an aftermarket one on the way. I saw the same kind of complaints on Reddit. I saw other videos where people have the same complaint. It's just an issue with this pocket clip. Okay. And all of these bits are security bits. Okay. So if you don't have, I don't know if they're T6 or T8 or T10, but they're security bits. You may not have those laying around. If you ever had to take any of these tools out, if you wanted to exchange them or whatever, then you need to make sure you have a lot of people, especially if you already work on knives, you already have the common Torx bits that aren't security. Then you're going to be able to work on this one a lot easier. This is just me kind of, kind of reaching out for thin air. But what are the advantages of the Surge? Pricing, $149. You're saving over $50 easily on this. The tool exchanger via the T shank is very nice. The fact that it doesn't have the Magna Cut may be an advantage for you because you don't feel bad about beating up your knife. What if you use your knife for prying? If you use your knife for some stupid stuff, if you break the tip, you can always just buy a knife aftermarket. If you were to mess this knife up, who cares? You can just literally take it off, exchange it. You really wouldn't be too butthurt about that. And it is more of a substantial tool. I'm not saying it is a more substantial tool. I'm not saying it can do any task better than another. Imagine you're trying to exchange a dryer door and get it facing the other direction, and you're using these tools for that type of task. Yeah, both of these are going to work just fine for that. I can't figure out a scenario where it's just like, oh, I wish the pliers were bigger. The cutters are better in the Surge. It is a bigger tool in the Surge. So you may have a perceived thought that it's better because it's bigger. The Surge doesn't have magnets. Some people work in environments where you can have magnets. These magnets aren't very strong on this arc, but they do have magnets in them. That might be something that you don't want to have to concern yourself with. The scissors are better on the Surge. They're bigger, they're better, they're beefier. That's something that you may want to consider as well. And the tool set on the inside of the Surge is not, I'm not going to say it's better, but it does feel more useful. I don't need the micro driver. So all of these tools here kind of really work for me the way that they're built out. The only thing I do wish that this had, if it at all possible, would be the box cutter. So this is technically like a surface where you could use to cut a box. But on my Leatherman Free P4, one thing I liked about it, it did have the box opener. That was very nice to be able to just rip open or rip down a bunch of boxes, open a bunch of boxes with a box opener. That's kind of a first world problem, not a big deal. But which one is right for you? I don't know. If it was and I was trying to figure out which one is for me and it was a forever thing, me personally, because I carry a knife and I like to save money, I would go with the Leatherman Surge. It feels more beastly. It feels more future proof with the T-shank, with the tool exchanger. I feel like if I do some stupid stuff with the blade steel, I can just swap it out. That's very nice. The Leatherman Arc is a luxury item. It is nice to be able to open it one-handed, but I will say that unless I deliberately am thinking about it, I don't carry a multi-tool on my human body every day. So I'm normally carrying a multi-tool in a pouch I'm carrying it in the armrest of my vehicle, something like that. And because that's the case, it just doesn't make sense to spend the additional money for my use case scenario. And you may be wondering, like, when I compared this with the Wave Plus, I went with the Arc. Yeah, I did because the tool set for me personally, if I'm gonna have a multi-tool, the tool set for me personally, I like more on the Leatherman Arc than I did on the Wave Plus. But this is a different story with the Surge. The Surge is a big boy. But I mean, comment down below which one is right for you. Would you go with the Leatherman Surge? Would you go with the Leatherman Arc Obsidian? Would you go with neither of the two? Would you go with the Super Tool or the Mutt? I have the Mutt. I don't even know if I'm going to make that comparison because I just feel like it's in a class of its own, designed specifically for weapons. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.